DC the beat man. DC the beat man.
So epic.
What's up, everybody? It's your favorite show, Get a Bucket. I'm your host, Trey, and as usual, hope you're all having a wonderful, wonderful day. Now, in today's society, we don't have a lot of standards in place, sadly. For example, the NBA MVP, that don't even have really good standards. Like, everybody's trying to move the goalpost. So on this video, I'm going to talk about a few things, but we're going to talk about NBA MVP criteria, the 3-time MVP list, the horseshoe listing. That's why I call, that's the listing I got for the haters. The fourth one is then Nikola Jokic, because he's a top MVP candidate this season. And then finally the conclusion, because I think it'll just sum everything on up. So we're gonna talk about the MVP criteria. All right, so like I said, we don't have much criteria and standards in place, right? So let's go ahead and make some. For starters, let's go ahead and create this standard now, because I think it kind of gets lost in the sauce a little bit. The NBA MVP award is a regular season award. Again, can we restate that? It's a regular season award. So that's first and foremost. Next, based on the regular season, are you a top 4 player in win shares? That means out of everybody who's playing in the league, I need you to be top 4 in win shares, meaning how are you generating enough wins for your team? That's what we're worrying about. Speaking of teams, how's your team doing? Like, can they fall in the 10 to 15th ranking for me, or 10 to 15% ranking for me? And when I say that, means top 3 to top 6 teams in the NBA. And I'm being generous on that 6. Preferably, it needs to be top 3. But if you got, 3 to 6, I might hear you. I might hear you out. But again, top 3 is preferred. And then also, if I see something spectacular, like maybe averaging a triple-double, remember Russell Westbrook did that, or you dragging your team to the playoffs and you don't really have a good squad, or maybe your team is injured, so we're expecting you to possibly miss the playoffs, and you still drag them to the playoffs and dominate on top of that, I think that's fair to say. So that's what I usually look at when I'm judging my MVPs. Again, regular season award, top 4 in win shares, top 10 to 15%, and really it's that top 10, because I would prefer it to be 1 through 3 in the NBA ranking in terms of teams. Or if you did a wilder situation than the other candidates. So that's my standard in place for the NBA MVP award. And when you think about it too, right? You got Giannis, Embiid, Tatum, Luka, and Jokic. All of them are posting great stats. All of them are in good situations right now. So we got to look at the details. But before we get to those details real quick, I just got to show you that I'm being consistent with my standard. So now we got to go to the 3-time NBA MVP winners. All right, so look, this is the 3-time NBA MVP winners, or at least the consecutive 3-time NBA MVP winners. And it's a short list. Ironically, it's 3 people on the list. Let's talk about them in chronological, or at least let's list them in chronological order. We'll talk about them a little differently. So we got Bill Russell, who did it first. Then we got Wilt Chamberlain, who did it next, followed by Larry Bird, who did it the last. It's a good listing here. I'll give that to you. We're going to start it off with Larry Bird, because this one was really cut and dry. I'm a Laker fan. Let me just say that right quick first, right? So I was really going to battle for Magic Johnson, man. I'm like, yo, there's no way in the world Larry Bird is definitively better than Magic Johnson. Plus, you got to think Larry Bird's team was stout. Like, he was always on the stacked squad. But when you look at the man's, like, you go into detail based on my criteria, all right, cool, yeah, he won those. Like, deservedly so. Because, again, In 84, right? 84 through 86, that's when he won his three-peat. Well, let's look at 83, for example, right? Well, right before, he was second in league or in voting, so he could have won 4 in a row. It's crazy. But he lost to Moses Malone, who, by my estimation, he beat him in win shares. Moses Malone was first, Larry Bird was second. The stats battle, I personally thought it went to Moses Malone. If you want to argue that, cool. But I think Moses Malone outplayed Larry Bird, except for assists, of course. But looking at totality, Larry lost. So Moses deserved that, especially when his team was pretty good that year, fit the criteria. So I'm cool with that. Larry lost that one and won the next. And based on my criteria, it follows. 84, he was second best in win shares and won the stats battle. Oh, his team was the best. So cool. You all right, fine. I don't see anybody with a better situation right now. 85, you got the best win shares. You win the stats battle. Best team. I don't know what to tell you. Like, he hits all the check boxes. Same in 86. So for Larry, easy peasy lemon squeezy. I expect Larry Bird to win that three-peat. Easy. The one that Nikola Jokic actually reminds me of most is the Bill Russell and Wilt Chamberlain situation, believe it or not. Because this is where it gets a little tricky. Now, funny enough, Bill Russell actually won his MVPs when Wilt Chamberlain was playing. All right, so let's give you the rundown real quick. Again, I said 61 to 64, Bill Russell wins. Well, guess who won it the year, like right before Bill Russell did? Wilt Chamberlain. He won the MVP. This is for the people who say, oh, it's if you don't win a championship, it's usually okay. Well, based on that logic, Wilt Chamberlain should have never won in 1960 because he won it his rookie year. That's the reason why he's the Rookie of the Year award. He won the MVP during his rookie year. So by your logic, again, shouldn't have won it. Now I can hear you on saying, well, no, I'm talking about back-to-back. Well, you're still saying because of someone's postseason production, they should not win the MVP. Again, I stated it's a regular season award, not postseason included. So Bill Russell apparently beats out Wilt Chamberlain. During Wilt Chamberlain's MVP season, he's averaging 38 points, 27 rebounds, and 2.1 assists. That's disgusting. Now, the next season, he's averaging basically the same thing. The only difference is 1.9 assists. Mind you, they don't include steals and blocks, or else this would be disgusting. But they didn't record that back then. He lost to the guy who, he lost to the defending, or Bill Russell beats the defending MVP, and that guy put up the same numbers. I understand Bill did his thing. I understand Bill's on the better team, but off value, Wilt Chamberlain is easily more valuable. All right, cool. That's fine, though. Maybe we're expecting more out of Wilt Chamberlain, so you give it to Bill. It's not like he didn't deserve it. Just, I would have thought Wilt Chamberlain got it over him. The next season in 62 is quite egregious. How do you get 50 points, 26 rebounds, and 2.4 assists and not get an MVP? I understand your team is number 3 in the league. I understand that there's only 8 teams in the league. I get that. For real? We can't get MVP off that? If you're noticing, I have an argument against Bill Russell that he should not have won the awards based on the regular season that was played. But yet, he was given it. Why? Well, 1, he deserved it. But 2, he also played on the best team, and his stats weren't bad either. It's just Wilt Chamberlain should have won those, though, personally. So if we want to go at, Nikola Jokic, let's make a little pit stop at Bill, personally. That's just me, though. Maybe you disagree, but that's just me. Let's talk about when Wilt won it. Like I said, he deservedly did so. Because during that tenure, the closest win shares we had was like 4.3 and 4.5. That's Jerry West and Big O. Y'all know those guys. That's the closest win shares we are. Like, you have to discredit him by team. That's the only way you can. So, yes, stats don't always tell the tale. But, you know, sometimes you got to look into those details and realize, all right, well, yes, this guy's on this team, but this guy is really doing work right now. Like, really doing work. And if the stats aren't that if there's a landslide in the stats, bro, you got to tip your cap to that guy and stop being biased. So that's the back-to-back, the consecutive 3-point MVP listing. Again, Bill Russell, Wilt Chamberlain, Larry Bird. I don't think they all deserved it. I haven't heard discredit yet of them, but you hear discredit of Nikola Jokic. We'll get to that in a second. Okay, this is actually about to address the bronze stands in a second. So, you know, definitely stay tuned because the horseshoe listing is on the way. All right, so look, we got the horseshoe listing, and what that is this. These guys were close to getting the 3-time consecutive MVP awards. And the reason why it's called the horseshoe listing is because, you know, in the game of horseshoes, if you get close to the ringer, you do, you know, we tip the cap to you, we give you some kudos. So again, the horseshoe listing, these guys were close. Just too bad we weren't playing horseshoes. So this is the dressing, and I'm gonna start it off with the haters first. The bronze stands, y'all gotta chill out. Okay, I hear you. LeBron James could have done it twice. Could have. But he lost out to D Rose in 2011 and Kevin Durant in 2014. And he honestly lost out to that. Again, remember the criteria, right? Top 4 in win shares, top teams, wilder situation, regular season award. D Rose had similar stats to Braun. All right. His team was ultimately better. In terms of record-wise, there was a 4 to 6 game gap between the Chicago Bulls and the Miami Heat. This is when D Wade, Chris Bosh, and LeBron James were all on the same team. So again, to have that cushion and your stats are similar, like you're doing pretty well in the win shares too. Like I got to tip my cap to D Rose in that situation. I'm sorry. Now, if you want to say I'm inconsistent, stay tuned or if that's wrong, stay tuned. I am consistent because in 2014, I discredit Braun for a similar thing. OKC's record was better. Kevin Durant and his stats were similar. I tip my cap to KD. You want to say Braun? Cool, but I personally go KD. Win shares, it was actually further for Braun. Like Braun had a little advantage. The team had a 4 to 6 game gap. So if I'm not too far off from win shares, stats I favor KD. My team is at a 4 to 6 game gap. All right, cool. I gotta tip the cap to KD. And if you're saying that's wrong, well, in 2013, this is a similar situation. Actually, the win share margin is closer favoring Kevin Durant, or it's still favoring Braun, but it's closer for Kevin Durant's favor. Stats are similar. The Miami Heat just had a 4 to 6 game lead. So before you say I'm inconsistent, note I'm giving Braun the nod in 2013. You could have given it to KD in 2013. So let's stop. Let's pump the brakes there, okay? On like for the Braun haters, the Braun stands. Let's stop that. Now, to address other players who fit the horseshoe listing, Steve Nash and Steph Curry. Remember, Steve Nash won it in 2005 and 2006, right? Ultimately, I'll give him 2005. You go from 2004, the Suns were 26 and 56, to the next season, you 56, 26 plus. All right, fine. Even though Stoudemire was balling that season, I will give it to you. They were hooping. So fine, I hear that. Although his win shares were not good, this is a wilder type of statement, if you will. You know what I'm saying? Like, his team was successful. He's on the best team, bro. Like, or he's on the best team. You got the record turnaround. The win shares don't help, but it's that story, that wilder story. I give that to you. 06 never should have gone to Steve Nash. Never should have. Should have gone to Kobe Bryant or even LeBron James, to be honest, like that. But it was definitely Kobe's for the taking, and they gave it to him because Stoudemire was injured. So like I do hear you, but they had more players on the team than just Amari Stoudemire. Like that was just one injury, a big injury. But Sean Marion giving me 18 and 12. Is it really? Like I got a squad with Sean Marion and Steve Nash. What are we doing? Meanwhile, Kobe Bean Bryant is out there dragging Smush Parker, Kwame Brown, Lamar Odom, who's good. And, you know what I'm saying? Chris Mims, Luke Walton, like that's what we got. That's who should have get. Like Kobe should have had that award. Again, context matters. So for Steve Nash, being consistent, shouldn't have won the second one, and definitely didn't deserve it in 07. And he did not. Shout out to you, Dirk, for winning it. Now, Steph Curry could have got robbed. Could have got robbed. I'm not gonna lie to you. Because in 15, all right, deservedly so. You're number 2 in win shares. You're on the best team. Like my boy, I don't know what else to tell you. You're on a heartfelt. You're on the up and coming team. You know what I'm saying? Like people are rocking for you, they're riding for you, they're cheering for you. Woo! 16, 73 and 9. Do we really need to say more? You're on the best team record-wise in the NBA history. You number 1 in win shares. Like, I don't know what to tell you. Now, that was 16. 17, this is where he kind of gets robbed. But he sold his MVPs for a championship. And that's when he brought in Kevin Durant. Because Kevin Durant was like number 9 on win shares. And this boy drops all the way from like 1 to 2 to number 5. So again, Steph Curry, rightfully so, did not deserve it in 17. Again, Russell Westbrook also averaged a triple-double. That's wilder than anything Steph Curry did that season. So, we're being consistent with the horseshoe listing. Peep that, though, okay? Like, sorry, Bron stands. LeBron James did not deserve, he did not deserve the 3. That's tough. He could have deserved it by technicality, right? Like, he played up to MVP level. Just D Rose and KD outplayed him in those situations. Tough. All right, so look, we got the man of the hour, right? I haven't talked about this man all video. Now we're finally here. So we got 2021, 2022, and 2023, right? 2023, he might win it this season. The first 2, you can say those years were shaky, okay? Like, I'll give you that. There could have been other winners, but Embiid didn't win it because of health. Giannis didn't win it. I don't think he outplayed Jokic, to be honest with you. So, 2021, Jokic wins and win shares. Team is in that ranking that I talked about. I slide it to Jokic. Like, all right, cool. If Embiid played more games, I might have given it to Embiid. Then, especially the way his team was playing that season, actually. Then you got the following season. They both deal with injuries, meaning Embiid and Jokic. Well, Embiid at least did get James Harden back for 25% of the season. Nikola Jokic did not have Jamal Murray and Michael Porter Jr. for all of the season. And this year's Aaron Gordon that you're seeing and loving and idolizing was not last year's Aaron Gordon. So when you're number 1 in win shares and you got a wilder story like that, and you drag your team to the playoffs as a 6 seed, like not the play-in, the playoffs. All right, I tip my cap to you. Now for 2023, I stated we have Giannis, Embiid, Luka, JT, Jason Tatum. Okay, who is definitively beating him this season? Because the Jokic critique that I've heard thus far, like I heard he's 23-0 when he gets a triple-double. And people keep saying, who cares? He's 1-8 in his last 2 playoff series. Okay. He's also 5-10 his last 2 playoff years. Real quick, fun fact. What's the Lakers' record the last 2 playoff years? 2-4. Like, let's also point, you know what I'm saying, at other people as well. Like, don't just focus on this one dude. And again, we're talking about a regular season award, not playoffs. So give me something that happened in the regular season that he did wrong. I thought so. Like, this man is averaging a triple-double like Russell Westbrook, who won it in 2017. We got the player success, like everyone in the MVP, well, at least most, right? Because we gave you the Wilder situation. And I can't find a Wilder situation that is eclipsing what Jokic is doing. Not to mention, if you really wanted to give him a Wilder situation, did you know his utilization is at the same rate as CJ McCollum, who's a fringe all-star? So it's actually below CJ's and a little bit above and a little bit above Scary Terry's. That's the scary part. It's between those two, and he's still an MVP candidate. But he don't deserve MVP. I'm not saying he wins it. He don't deserve it? That's stupid. And then if you say he shouldn't win it, fine. Tell me who should win it over him based on this season. Because it's a regular season award. So everybody who's saying, oh, the 1-8 in the postseason, that's cool. That's fine. He's had postseason success. Now, I don't give the credit because, I don't credit the bubble. But if you do, then you have to acknowledge he went to the Western Conference Final. Which, that's the last time my Lakers were relevant. So for all the Bron fans, all y'all, the ones who are highlighting that for Bron, let's also acknowledge this for Nikola Jokic as well, too. Like, he's had some success. You just lost to the eventual champions or the people who got to the finals, like the Lakers, the Suns, the Warriors. That's not bad. That's not, and again, there's context provided as to why he lost. The Suns, you should have got one game at least. I will give you that. Like, we don't need to see another first round exit. No more sweeps. Cool, barring some real weird injuries. But keep it regular season based, because it's a regular season award. What do you do? Well, we are finally here. So look, he has a shot at winning this MVP award 3 times in a row, right? 2021. I really gave it to Jokic because Embiid got injured. Like, he didn't play enough games. Next, we go to 2022. He really took a trash team to the playoffs. And I hear you on the Embiid fans. Like, I wanted Embiid to win it last year too. I got to give it to Jokic for 2022 off that reason. So Wilder situation. Now, for 2023, you got to convince me how Giannis, Embiid, Luka, or Jason Tatum are outplaying Nikola Jokic. Again, by this point, you should already see that Nikola Jokic has deserved the MVP. Deserved does not mean you get it outright, because everyone on this list deserves it. But to say that someone doesn't deserve it, like Nikola Jokic, is a wild statement. And you have to say more outside of, oh, well, past MVPers didn't get it for blah, 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 or the postseason failures. I don't want to hear that. We've already acknowledged it's a regular season award. So tell me why those 4 players deserve it over Nikola Jokic. I personally want to hear that. I don't have a reason for you. Not a definitive one. It's an easier argument for Nikola Jokic over all the other MVPs. Currently standing. Let his team drop. We have a whole different discussion. But right now, point in time, he is number 1 in win share. His team is top 3. Like, there's no other Wilder statement or story that's better than Nikola Jokic this season. And again, it's a regular season award. Who else you got? I want to know. And I'm being consistent. I've shown you the past and the present, and hopefully we can carry this on for the future. But I would love to hear your thoughts and comments below. So look, if you think I'm bugging, please let me know. but I want to know what specifically I'm bugging on and articulate your points, please. Don't just say, oh, this is stupid. I don't want that. Terrible takes, terrible response, and it lets me know you did not think. So please, I want to hear your elaborate thoughts. But please also like, subscribe, comment, tell anyone who's anyone about the show. My name is Trey. I'm the host of Get a Bucket. Hope you all are having a good one. Take care.
Oh, I did not know you guys were still here. As you can see, we're at the back end of the show. No pun intended, but look, hope you all enjoyed it. And before you go, please subscribe to the YouTube channel, follow the IG account, share the content to anybody who's anybody. And most importantly, leave your thoughts and comments below. But I gotta go back and play Buddy in 2K, so let me unmute him real quick. Excuse me. Hey, boss, I'm back. Nah, you better catch this word. You know we get buckets around here.